Well, the props that I have today, a bolster, a blanket, a ball. I'm gonna do a little self massage with the ball. A strap for some stretches. And then I also have a dowel here in studio. At home, if you don't have this, maybe a broom. I've used a broom before. We're gonna just use some grip work with this and also do like one strong thing where we put the end of it on the floor. Um, And then, yes, oh yes, and in studio, there's these finger massagers that I'm freaking obsessed with. It looks like they've restocked them too. So yeah, feel free to grab one of them. They're just here. When we get to the finger massager point, for those at home, you can just use your own fingers to massage your fingers, or maybe you happen to have something like this. And if you don't, I recommend getting it because it feels really nice to just roll up and down. It gets all of the tension in the fingers out. So, spoiler alert, we're going to end our class with this and it'll lead to a mudra meditation. So, we'll just have that little guy off to the side. They're in these little jars here. That didn't go nearly as far as I was hoping. Like 1 inch. Okay, I totally forgot to connect to the Bluetooth speakers. Let's do that. I already know 100%. You can get myself some tea too. Are there, like I said, so I have ideas of weaving some stretching, some strengthening, some massage. Right now my head's just thinking about getting the whole body, but do we have like parts of the body that want extra attention than others? Feet?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Sure.
Heck yeah. Head. Got it. Neck as well. Like, do you get like headaches and such?
Headaches, yes. No. No.
Okay.
Like the neck's cool.
Cool.
You love the neck.
Yes. All right. I will be.
This house thing.
Thank you.
Kind of like this one.
What?
We were kind of like a scarf. Like the, I don't know where this underneath the
Yeah.
blue teal crosses.
Yeah. Socks. So wholesome.
Oh, that makes thing.
Yeah. The job is fine. It's just, opportunity corridor. The classic Western side. Well, are you still at the same place? Yeah. It's okay. Of course, I oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you can. But it's like, you know what? It's so much. Yeah.
So as I set up this Bluetooth, which is being a thing right now, we're going to start laying down, and you're already doing that. That's so wonderful. Let's have our bolster and our strap within arm's reach as we're laying down. And just take these first few moments, just like introducing the back body onto the floor. It might feel nice having like a rolled or folded blanket underneath your knees or even your bolster under your knees. That kind of just brings a little bit of support down there. And then just settle on in.
Gathering 100%.
I'm sorry.
That's because I don't think you know why.
Did it work? Okay, cool. When I first got an iPhone in 2013, I made a really dumb joke and named my phone something silly, and I haven't been able to change it since. It's a 12-year-old inside joke.
That's awesome.
Anyway, here we are laying down. And then maybe you like spread it out. Might feel nice having the arms up overhead. And just feel the space and the distance between all four of your limbs. So first, maybe you just settle in to that right arm and you feel the distance between your right shoulder and your right fingers. And just kind of like negotiating where that wants to be positioned, feeling into the shoulder joint, the elbow joint, maybe even articulating the fingers. And let's take an inhale and lift that limb off the floor. Intuitively, like reach with the articulated wrist. Take an inhale again. And then when you exhale, lower that hand to the floor, the whole arm to the floor. And allow that to really like ground down and solidify to the earth beneath you. Tuning into that right arm, down the right side body. Then bring your awareness down to your right hip. Feel the distance between your shoulder and hip. Feel the distance between your right hip and your right foot. And then we'll inhale and peel that foot off the floor. Maybe roll the ankle, maybe bend and straighten the knee once or twice. And engaging through that whole limb, lifting up. Another breath in. And then an exhale to lower that right leg back down. Grounding it onto the floor. Feeling the entire right leg. Then feel the distance between your right foot and your left foot. Getting curious about your entire pelvis, feeling your two hips. And the distance between your left hip and your left foot. Feel that entire leg, lift it up, do the movements that feel right. Feeling into all parts of that left leg, taking an inhale. And then exhale, lowering it back down, feeling it grounding itself on the floor. Breathing into that entire left leg. Grounding down in the left glutes. And then move the awareness up the side body to the left rib cage and the left shoulder. Feeling the distance between that left shoulder and left hip. The distance between the left shoulder and your left hand. And then we'll lift that limb up and move it around, bend and straighten the elbow, articulate the wrist. Feel a sense of reaching with another inhale. And then an exhale to lower. Feeling the entire left arm. The distance between that arm and your right arm. All four of your limbs. Feeling these parts far away from you in the fingers and toes. And then moving closer and closer to the midline. Feeling into your torso. Feeling the entire back plane of your body on the floor. And here we are, we have grounded, we have centered. And the intention for the rest of our hour together is to stay grounded and to stay present in the body. It's going to be all sorts of various movements and practices we'll weave together, all with the intention of helping you feel yourself a little better, helping you really tune into sensations, feel a sense of regulation, and presence, because there's nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing else you need to do. This is a space to unwind, releasing tension in the body, in the mind, and coming to center. So feel that sense of center in your body. That point that's right in the middle of the upper and lower body. That's right in the middle of left and right side. The center between your front and your back. And we'll take a couple more slow breaths in and out of the nose. And then we're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and we'll bring our hands on top of our bellies. And we're just going to drop the knees from side to side, feeling a sense of like little windshield wiper action, and we're rolling our back body against the floor, and our hands can kind of swipe from side to side on our bellies. So we're getting like a dual-sided massage action. And maybe you rotate your neck from side to side as well, opening and closing the jaw. As my knees go in one direction, my neck wants to go in the other direction, and I feel this little gentle spinal twist. Good, and then from here, we're going to peel our feet off the floor. You can hug your knees in towards your chest using your arms, and feel that there's distance between the tops of your hips and your low ribs. It's kind of feeling into your low back for a couple minutes. Good, and start to spread your knees to either side of your rib cage. Now this might be it right here. Maybe you come to a full happy baby. Exploring some hip rotation in your own way. So they're externally rotating when we bring the knees out a little further. Maybe you bring your feet towards the ceiling as well, grabbing a hold of your feet or your ankles. You might rock from side to side. Maybe you bend and straighten your legs one at a time, like a curious little baby figuring out how its body works. Kind of wild being born into a thing that we don't really know how it works yet, but that's how we do it, I guess. That's kind of nice. Like, we don't have to know it all right away as soon as life begins. We get to figure it out. And I think that continues even outside of youth. We get to continue to figure it out as our body ages. We'll just take one more big breath, feeling that in your pelvis. Good. And we'll bring the knees back together. Let's lower the left foot to the floor. We're going to move that right hip around in some intuitive little circles as we find our strap. So just kind of get in a sense of range of motion in that right hip. And whenever you're ready, we'll use that strap to stretch through that entire leg, bringing the strap to the foot and extending the knee. So maybe you keep that left foot on the floor, maybe you lengthen it long. A micro bend in that right knee is encouraged. We don't need to hyperextend. We are lengthening through those hamstring muscles in the back of your thigh. And so just feel into that in a way that feels best for you and your body. Good. So I'm holding the strap in the right hand and my left hand's on my belly. Sometimes I get the habit of like clenching my belly. And so when I place a hand there, it helps remind me to not do that habit. It helps me breathe big belly balloon breaths. And I feel the back plane of my body on the floor, and it's grounded. The backs of both hips are grounded. The shoulders don't need to clench. We'll just take a few more breaths into this right leg. Good. Okay, we're going to slowly bring the right leg to the left. Try not to uproot the hip, but feeling a stretch through that outer thigh, some sensations through your low back, and another big breath. with a soft belly. Good, the leg comes back through center and we open it up to the right. And we're still rooted on the back plane of the body, but we feel it a little more in the groin and the inner thigh, maybe a little more micro bend of the knee, a macro bend. And we'll just take another breath. Good, bring that leg back through center. We're gonna have the left foot meet that right foot there. So we're gonna do like a little legs up the invisible wall for a moment. We'll just take a moment in this shape, kind of like a 90-degree angle-ish with the upper and lower body. Maybe you're holding the strap in both hands. That's what I'm doing. Feels like a weird little sled. And just feel the back body on the floor. Feel the lower body lifted. And then the left foot is going to stay. And the right foot either comes to the floor or that leg goes long. And now here we are stretching out the left hamstring. Maybe a hand is on your belly. Just breathing into that thigh. We'll just take a few more breaths. Good, ground down in the back plane. Move the left leg over to the right. Feel the outer thigh and hip. Unclench, take a big old breath. Good, bring the leg back to center. Open the leg out to the left, remaining rooted. Feel the big stretch on your groin and inner thigh. And take one more big breath. Good, move it back through center. Remove the strap, bend both knees back into your chest. Good, and then we'll bring both feet to the floor. And we'll find a restorative bridge pose. So we're going to press into the feet. So lift the pelvis up and we bring our bolster down so that the backs of the hips are supported. All right, so the lower body gets to chill out for a little bit. Maybe you bring a blanket on top of you for like a little extra grounding. So we'll be in this shape for about 2 minutes. And at any point, maybe you want to lengthen one or both of your legs so that the knees are straight and the heels come to the floor. You might do that one at a time. You might not even do that at all. This action is going to create a little more lengthening in the front of your hips and thighs. Really kind of feeling it in the front of your entire pelvis. And so lengthening on one side of the body means shortening on the other side. So if you feel any extra tension or like a zap with your low back, like if your low back muscles are already hyper shortened, then I don't recommend lengthening your leg. And in fact, keeping the feet on the floor is going to help with that decompression from the low back. So we're going to allow the lower body to just relax and settle on into whatever shape you're deciding for that. While we give our scalps and heads a little bit of a massage. So let's just start by intuitively running our fingers through our hairline, around our scalp. Sometimes if we get tension headaches, the scalp itself, it's just too tense and tight. And so we can loosen that up by pressing down with our fingers and making like little circles, little zigzags where we are dragging that scalp itself around a little bit, even if you move just like a millimeter. That is still enough action just to kind of get like release through all of the connective tissue and the fascia. A little movement through those scalp muscles. And maybe you open and close the jaw intuitively as well, if you're a jaw clencher. All right, let's bring a little more specific massage to the temples. Bringing it to your forehead. You might have your finger pads just kind of line up along your eyebrow and then gently drag and lift up towards your hairline. And you might do a few strokes like that. Bring the brows up. Trying to stop gripping in your eyeballs. You can use your first finger and thumb to kind of pinch along your eyebrows. The thumb might explore along your eye socket into that orbital bone. Good, and then we'll have our finger pads at the center of the brow and then drag them out from side to side. Just kind of opening up the third eye. And then we'll do a couple more swipes from the brow down the sides of your face. So kind of like up the brow, through the center, out from side to side, and then down the cheeks, down the jaw. Just do a few strokes like that through the whole face. Continuing to relax in the lower body. And now with this next swipe down the face, get curious about your jaw and start to massage into that area. Maybe even opening and closing the jaw as you're massaging. Good, and then lastly, we're gonna pay attention to our ears and we're just gonna pinch and pull the cartilage and lobes. Feeling like a little loosening up in that area where the ears and scalp meet each other. Good, and then any more massage we might want to do for our head. Any last spaces we want to touch into. And then we're just going to relax our hands anywhere we want them to be. Feel this restorative bridge pose for another few breaths. If your legs have been lengthened, I recommend bringing the feet back to the floor for these last few breaths. Just kind of concluding the shape with intention. Feeling those feet on the floor, feeling the gentle bend of your knees, the position of your thigh bones meeting your hip sockets, the support of that bolster underneath your hips. And then we're going to turn this into an active bridge, feeling the strength of the muscles required to do that. Take the bolster out of the way, stay in your active bridge, feel your strength. Start to shimmy your shoulders towards each other so that we're broadening through the chest. Squeezing the glutes. This is our first strengthening thing of the day. Try not to clench the jaw. Lift the toes and lower the toes again. Recommit to your connection to the floor. And feel the whole engagement of the low body for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower from top to bottom. The base of your spine to the left to reach the floor. And you might do your windshield wipers again. All right, let's conclude this laying down part with some spinal twists. We're going to bring the knees over to the left. The pelvis is facing the left. The hips are stacked. The rest of our spine is going to unwind to the right as we twist towards the right. That arm can reach, the neck can soften. Just take a few more breaths. Good. Feel that breath in your belly. One more big old breath in this shape. All right. Unwind, come through center, set up to twist in the other direction. So now we're rotating towards the left. Notice how it feels to breathe with your twisted lungs. We'll take a few more. Good, last breath. All right, roll onto your right side. Slowly press up to the seat. All right. So we'll acclimate to our seats here. A quick little tea break. Feeling that seat on the floor. So acclimating to this new shape, we're a little more upright. I mean, we're exactly upright. So feel into the very top of your head. And feel the distance between your head and the ceiling above you. Feel all of that space in the room. And the distance between your ears and your shoulders. The length of your spine, your entire spine, and the distance between each little vertebrae of your spine. Feel the distance between your low ribs and the tops of your hips. And feel a nice soft belly. So we're going to twist again, but we're going to pay attention to how twisting in a seated position feels different than when we're laying down. We'll have the left hand on the floor, and then the right hand's going to come to your left thigh or knee. We're going to slowly rotate to the left. So feel a sense of lifting of the spine upwards. And what happens when you exhale? We'll just take one more big breath here. And we'll return through center. As we unwind and come back to center, the right hand comes to the floor. And then the left hand comes to the right fire knee, and we rotate the other. Just take another big breath. Back to center. Left hand comes back to the floor. It's going to ground us. We lift that right arm up. And we'll do a side body stretch, just leaning to the left. And that right arm can stay up and get curious. Sometimes I like to rotate my hand or bend and straighten my elbow. Also, sometimes I look up, sometimes I look down, and the neck gets involved. So little intuitive movements with the neck and shoulder to feel more sensations in this side body stretch. And we're grounded in our seat, but there's so much more distance between that right hip and the right rib cage. And we're just leaning into that for these next couple of breaths. Just take one more. Good. As you inhale back through center, both arms lift. And then we exhale, right hand to the floor, leaning to that side, making your little intuitive wiggles. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know, clearing out the cobwebs. Good. One more. All right. Back through center. And then we'll sit again. And we just did 2 actions from side to side, but feel into these 4 different stretches we did. How do you feel different than just like 3 minutes ago? All right, we're going to reposition now to our hands and knees. Maybe the knees come onto a blanket if you need a little extra cushion. Every time our hands are on the floor, those fingers are spread nice and wide. That helps us avoid dumping all of our weight into our wrists, but rather distributing it out further. All right, let's get some spinal shapes with some cat cows. So an inhale for cow, we drop the cow udders, we lift the tailbone. We exhale for cat with the hips to the cat, rounding just fine the other way. We'll pass this back and forth. You might find some side to side sways, leaning forwards and backwards as well. Just organically moving through about 8 or so rounds of cat cow. So pretty much every part of the body is involved here. So if you happen to have like low back tension, maybe that's where you're focusing and you're really feeling the pelvic tilt and that tailbone lift. Maybe your tension's more by your shoulder blades. And so when you're in cat, you really feel the distance between them as you press into the ground. So customize this to your body's needs and really paying attention to the bodies and the sensations it's giving off. Listening and responding. Hmm. 3 more breaths. All right. Come back to a neutral spine. Let's curl the right toes under, stretch out through that right foot, extending the knee behind us. And just rolling forwards and backwards. You might find little circles around that wall mound. Say hello to all 5 of those toes. And the ankle. You can curl the toes in the other direction for a moment. Good, and then we'll swap out that knee and stretch out through that other foot. Give your feet a taste of what lies ahead in the game session. All right, good. Bring your knees back down. And we're gonna come to a standing forward fold. Your hands might come to ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows. Maybe your hands come to a bolster or a block. I don't think I said to grab a block, so sorry about that. But yeah, bend one knee at a time. Loosen up. I think another 8 or so breaths here. You might blubber your lips. All right, we're gonna slowly roll up to stand. The head will be the last thing to lift. Let's take a moment to just feel our standing position. Feel the 2 feet on the floor. The length of the 2 legs meeting at the pelvis. The arms are soft by your side, maybe the palms face forward. Notice how facing the palms forward, maybe adjusted your shoulders and broadened your chest a bit. If you're clenching your butt, let it go. Feel the whole length of your spine, top of the head. The distance between your head and ceiling shortened a bit since we stood up. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold over your long legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it back down. Good. Inhale, stand up, reach high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower the hands. All right, we are going to massage our feet with the ball. All right, so we're just gonna do foot to foot, nothing too complicated. My eye on the clock, so do a full minute.
In each foot or total?
Each foot.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Few more moments on this foot. Okay, well, let's do a couple ankle rollings before we put that foot back on down. And then when you do lower it, we'll just take a little moment, compare from side to side, feel your mountain pose again. Feel the effects of what you just did. Okay, let's massage the other foot. Few more moments on this foot. Okay. That's our minute. Weird, those 2 minutes felt like different lengths of time, but I swear I looked at the clock. And we'll stand again, feeling both feet on the floor. Let's do that little half sun salutation again. Maybe a little comparative study of like what this one feels like versus the one before we massaged our feet. So we'll inhale the opposite. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it back down. Good. Inhale, stand up tall, reach high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower the hands. Take another big breath. We're gonna grab our dowels or a broom. And we're gonna put that short end. If we're using dowels, they're both short ends, but if we're using a broom, we're doing that short end. And we're just gonna press it down into the floor. This is our little strengthening action for the full body. Maybe you might feel a little more in the upper body. But all of our cells are pressing down. And there's a little micro bend in my knees, maybe a macro bend actually. Yeah, feeling it in your upper body and your arms. So something can kind of happen where we like separate the upper body and the lower body. So just feel the whole body here. All of it anchoring down in the floor. And we're breathing our belly breaths. And our jaw is soft. And our toes, our feet that we just massaged, they're also relaxed and soft. And we're holding this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let go of it. Ooh. And stand again for a moment. Then we're going to come to a seat, keeping our dowel with us. And the ball, not the ball, the finger massagers will be nearby too. Maybe you sit on your bolster. Maybe you sit on the floor. Maybe a blanket comes back down on your lap. So, yeah, let's make sure that we are nice and comfortable, however we are seated. So we're gonna do a little grip work for strengthening our hands and fingers, and then we're gonna massage those bad boys. Then we'll end with the mudra meditation. Little idea of what lies ahead. Let's start. How do I want to do this? Let's do overhand with the right and underhand with the left. We're going to start to really squeeze this dowel with all 10 of our fingers. But the dowel itself can just kind of relax in our lap. Softening the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. It's just those fingers. The forearms are involved as well. Feel the firmness of that dowel. And maybe without actually moving the hands, we imagine that we are twisting. We're just kind of twisting this dowel and taking that a little bit in both directions, just like moving that grip and shifting the effort. And then find something that feels really centered between the two and squeeze a little more with your left thumb, left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Softening the whole left arm, but gripping in the fingers. And then the right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Softening the right elbow and shoulder, but strong fingers. What's your belly doing? Take one more breath. Good, let it go. Ooh, roll it out. Sometimes I feel stuck. You have to like loosen that up. Making little, what is this? Like a rolling pin. Yeah. Yeah, you probably use one of these a lot. Okay, we'll swap it the other way. So left is overhand, right is underhand. Right? Right, yeah. Okay, starting by just squeezing, maybe finding those like little twists, like we're just wringing it out, feeling the subtleties as we twist. Both directions. And finding something that feels like center between that. Squeezing with the right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Feel soft everywhere except for those fingers. And then the left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Good. One more breath. And let it go, unwind, roll it out again. Good, we'll bring this dowel off to the side. We'll do a couple little figure eights with our wrists, loosening that up. And our figure eights can mirror each other from side to side. And then we'll pause our figure eights and then reverse that direction, making our bodies think a little bit. And then we'll just loosen it up, shake it out, let it get all floppy. And then we'll grab our finger massagers. So those of you at home, you can just use your own fingers to massage your fingers, or again, maybe you have a tool like this. We're gonna start with the left pinky. We're gonna just roll this tool up and down. And we'll do every single finger. I'll let you know when we change. I'm gonna be pretty quiet, just like cueing when we move from finger to finger. So I would love for you to just really feel into all the different sensations. So it might be different from finger to finger. Even within one finger, you might feel different sensations from knuckle to knuckle. I'm just gonna take a few more moments in this left pinky. And then bring it to the next finger on your left hand. Okay, next finger. All right, next finger. Bring it to your thumb. And your other thumb. And your next finger. And the next finger. And the next finger. And then that last little guy. Last little pinky. Let's set that down. Allow the palms to face up on your lap for a moment. And just feel into any lingering sensations in your 10 fingers. So we're gonna end with one of my favorite mudras, Hakini Mudra. I use it in this class a lot because of the effects that it has. It's a very centering, just really connecting. It feels like I'm plugging into a circuit. So yeah, all of the fingertips come to touch, and there is space between the fingers, space between the palms. And maybe you feel a sense of energy in that distance, in that space that we're holding. You can also feel energy coursing through your fingers as they meet each other. Plugging into the circuit. We'll hold this mudra for the next couple of minutes, allowing this to be an opportunity to seal in the whole practice. Acknowledging how your body feels now. Bringing the awareness through the whole body. Do you feel different sensations than you did an hour ago? Do we have perhaps a little less tension in some areas? Maybe a little more space, more awareness. Feeling back into all of these fingers. Spread the awareness up into the arms, into the shoulders, into the head and face. Exhaling your awareness down the length of your spine, softening in the belly, feeling the seat. Grounding down in the lower body, feeling the connection you have to the floor. Take another big breath here with this mudra. We'll slowly transition into Anjali Mudra, prayer hands, bringing the length of the fingers and the palms to touch. Bringing the thumb knuckles in towards our sternum at our chest, connecting at the heart space. Honoring this practice, honoring those we've practiced with. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. May we all carry a little bit of this with us and stay centered throughout our days. You're invited to close out practice by chanting Om with me. If you want to join, we inhale inside to synchronize the breath. Then the following breath is the chant. So let's inhale. Om. Thank you, those of you that joined from home. I hope you have a lovely day.